Burning Man is 85 days away from today, and in this video, we are going to discuss what tents you should take to your very first burn. And bitch, let me motherfucking tell you, we're about to throw some of these companies under the bus like Regina George. To start off, I do not recommend using any Gazelle products. For my very first burn, I did utilize a Gazelle tent and a Gazelle canopy, and bitch, let me motherfucking tell you, the disaster. During severe weather, the ceiling of my Gazelle canopy kept collapsing, and bitch, that was a motherfucking struggle. To the point where it became a burden and I was extremely stressed the fuck out. On top of that, dust entered my tent on a daily basis. And bitch, let me motherfucking tell you, that was a struggle on its own because I continuously had to clean my tent from dust. And why did this happen? First off, Gazelle products are not made to withstand severe weather like at Burning Man. Gazelle products are made for normal weather conditions. And even with a rainfly, dust still managed to enter the tent. And why did this happen? This happened because the walls and the ceilings of the Gazelle tents have exposed mesh openings. And even with the mesh openings fully covered, dust still managed to enter the tent. The dust inside my tent was so severe, I spent most of my time at the burn sleeping in dust. The rainfly only protects the tent during rainstorms. When you attach the rainfly to any tent, there is a small space between the rainfly and the mesh opening. So during severe dust storms, the dust particles enter in between these spaces, and now your tent is fully covered in dust. As to why I do not recommend any Gazelle products. Gazelle products are not Burning Man friendly. For Camp LSD 2025, I had a campmate who used a Gazelle tent and she was extremely unsatisfied. With that said, I do not recommend any tents with exposed mesh openings. Take this brown and white tent for example. The ceiling has exposed mesh openings including the walls. This next tent is a Coleman tent, and as you can see, it does have exposed mesh ceilings. And as you can see here, even with the rainfly, the mesh ceilings are still exposed, and dust will enter your tent. On top of that, the stakes that hold up the tents are very flimsy. During severe weather, the stakes could break and now you're going to have a bigger issue. If you're gonna go to Burning Man and you intend to purchase a tent with mesh openings, I do recommend setting up the tent prior to the burn. After you set up the tent, I do recommend fully enclosing all mesh openings with fabric. And you're gonna do this by gluing the fabric to the tent. I know what you're saying, Isaac, that is a fucking hassle, but bitch, the hassle is gonna get worse once you get to Burning Man. When you attach the extra piece of fabric or tarp, you're going to attach that piece of fabric to the outside of the tent. If you attach the extra piece of fabric to the interior of the tent, dust is going to build up, and now that extra piece of fabric is going to collapse inward. If you're going to purchase one of these inexpensive tents, I do recommend purchasing an extra set of stakes. Personally, I do use a shift pod, and I know where you're thinking, Isaac, shift pods are expensive. I know, bitch. But let me tell you, you can sign up for the Shift Pod Owners Group on Facebook Marketplace. And bitch, let me motherfucking tell you, you can find used shift pods for almost $500 or sometimes you find them for less. I know shift pods are really expensive, but that is an investment piece, especially if you're going to be going to Burning Man every single year. Believe it or not, shift pods were made by a burner. Shift pods are fully insulated, keeping the interior of the tent up to 10 degrees cooler. On the downfall, because these tents are fully insulated, if you do not leave a window or two open, there will be condensation. And what happens when you have condensation? You're going to have mold in your $2,000 shift pod. To prevent condensation from happening, I do recommend purchasing air filters to tape in the exterior of your shift pod. By doing so, it allows air to enter your shift pod. The air filters also prevent dust from entering your shift pod during dust storms. When taping air filters to the exterior of your shift pod, I do not recommend using duct tape. Instead, use painter's tape. When you use painter's tape, the adhesive won't be as sticky and it won't leave residue behind. If there is some residue left behind, simply use alcohol and remove the residue. Another thing to note, shift pods are really heavy. I personally have an XL shift pod and that bitch is about 50 to 70 pounds. I do recommend one of these teepee style tents because I see them throughout the burn and they seem to be extremely secure. And also, you'll have a lot of standing space. If your teepee tent has fully exposed openings, don't forget to cover them up prior to the burn. I also recommend Kodak tents. They seem to be very popular in the Burning Man community. A personal campmate recently purchased a Kodak tent and I was able to see it for myself, and bitch, the material is top notch, and the best thing is it is compact and extremely light. And the best thing is Kodak tents are half the price of shift pods. I also recommend Space Acacia tents because the floors are an air mattress and all you need is your blanket and your pillow, bitch. On top of that, the Space Acacia tents float in the water. Like, bitch, how awesome is that? You can use these tents at Burning Man and you can use them when you're outdoors camping at the river. Bitch, that is a 2-for-1 special, let me motherfucking tell you. On the downside, these tents do have mesh openings in the ceilings and you do have to find a way to fully cover the exposed mesh ceilings. And bitch, let me motherfucking tell you, if you go to Burning Man and you sleep on air mattresses, you know that after day 1 or 2, the air mattress does deflate. So I'm not sure how sturdy this air mattress / floor is. Just a fair warning, bitch, because the last thing I would want is for you to purchase a Space Acacia tent, go to Burning Man, and after day 1 or 2, your fucking floors are fully deflated. But come to think of it, bitch, if these tents float in the water and that bitch was to deflate, that is a big lawsuit waiting to happen. So I'm just saying these tents should be sturdy for Burning Man. I hope you found this video fully helpful, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or recommendations, send me a DM on any of my social media platforms. See you at the burn, bitch.